hit the record button, hit the start button, and hit the go live button. And we're live here on Facebook. Like to welcome those listening in podcast land. Also, like to welcome my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
Doing good, Mike. Doing good for a Friday night. A little bit later, a little bit late for me, but it's all good. Nothing going on tomorrow, except a men's breakfast over at the church. But that's not till 9 o'clock, so I'll get a little bit of chance to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna try to go out to Sioux Falls tomorrow, but we're also supposed to get 1 to 5 inches of snow. So who knows?
Ooh,
Excuse me. Rich, how's your week going?
not too bad.
Good.
Not too bad. The transition to a new location, the manager coordinating a different packaging facility went fairly smooth, I think. So still a lot to learn and a lot to get used to, but it's coming along a lot smoother than I thought it would. So
Yeah. Um, Good week at work for me. It was there were some weird things going on, but it worked out great. And yeah, we got a great show for
have,
you.
have they started Mario Kart practice yet?
So the kids are on spring break this next week.
Okay.
So we have to. Uh, I'm not gonna make them practice this week. I did ask them to jump online and be like if you see me online, shoot me a message and say, "Hey, coach, I wanna race you so that I can see how they are." It's really what it is.
Gotcha.
Um, and then once we have that, I want to. Um, we're gonna do a practice on Monday when we get back, and then after that, it'll be ready for. Um, we actually have our first match the Tuesday we get back, so it'll be tight windows there, but we should be able to make it work. So
All right.
we'll
Fun
give you an
times. You'll have
update.
to
We'll give it.
keep us posted.
Yeah, we'll put a Mario Kart update in the show starting probably not next week, but the week after. So okay, Rich, we got a pretty. It started off, and if you would have asked me 6 hours ago how our show was gonna go, it was gonna be light. But boy, did that all change this afternoon as we have some NFL talk to talk about. Lots of stuff, lots of changes going on, which is what we see this time of year as the draft approaches and as franchise tags have been laid on people. We get to see movement in trades. So we have some big stuff to talk about there. Along with getting stuff set up for NCAA tournament. Man, is it going to be great. Rich, what else are we talking about today?
Well, Mike, we're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs as we'll be looking at an over-under prediction. Last week we said the over-under number would be coming from Elite Sportsbook as they're the sports book at one of the local casinos here in the Quad Cities.
Yep.
But we had to change it to FanDuel because we couldn't find anything on Elite Sportsbook for an over-under win total. So we'll give our opinions on whether we think the Cubs can hit that or not, as well as how many wins we think they can make. And as always, we'll be going into the NASCAR Corner, which is presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. But Mike, all that and more, but what do we got to do first?
We got to roll that intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And we're back. Okay, so Rich, before anything, we got to get to the poll question. This week's poll question was...
Crazy Train going up against Thunderstruck.
Man,
Our last wild card or second chance matchup before we go into the Sweet 16.
yeah.
Mike, how did you vote?
I voted for Thunderstruck. voted for AC/DC.
Any reason?
I don't know. I love Thunderstruck. It's a great song. How about the chainsaws to get you started?
All right. I went with Thunderstruck too, mostly of just those memories of going out to the Mark and seeing the Quad City Thunder play and seeing them coming out to that song and kind of like that hype up video before the pregame before they took the court and they started announcing the starting lineup.
So we had one vote for Crazy Train.
All right.
And that belongs to my wife, Danielle Hart. We had 5 votes for Thunderstruck, making Thunderstruck the winner.
All right. So
Tyler Allen, Debbie Scranton Washburn, Josh Hendricks, and you and I. So that one seems to have done better, and so it's the winner.
All right. So this week, first matchup for a Sweet 16. We're going to go with 2 songs that have a good crowd interactions. We're going to go with Sweet Caroline and YMCA. I'll get that poll posted either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So if you're listening to us for the first time, want to know where do you find these polls? Make sure to hop over to our Facebook page, either Balls and Sticks or Fans of Balls and Sticks. Make sure to follow the page, and you'll be notified when our polls go live.
Yep.
Mike, do you see what's coming up next?
Is it a left turn, Rich?
It is a left turn, Mike. And what's after that?
Is it another left turn?
It is another left turn. And tell them who's presenting the NASCAR Corner today, Mike.
That's because we're heading into the NASCAR Corner. Presented, as always, by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out on 5th Avenue for all your sports memorabilia needs in person or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Last week, they were in... They ran the Pennzoil 400 in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Man, was that a good race or what, Rich?
It really was. There was just good racing all around. Not if you were a Joey Logano fan, though.
Oh, no.
Ooh, that was a rough day for Joey Legs, as he was driving the Pennzoil car that day, won the pole, did not work out for him.
Dominated.
Yeah, him and Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
All of Hendrick really dominated him, Bowman really.
Yeah.
All 3 of those Hendrick guys did really well.
Yep. And if you were wondering why we didn't mention Chase Elliott in that conversation, as a reminder, Chase Elliott is out for a few weeks for a fractured tibia.
Fractured tibia, yes.
had that surgery.
Was injured in
they had
snowboarding accident in between races, between being in Fontana and Vegas.
Yeah. So
kind of an odd move. You'd think. I mean, there's nothing in the contracts that say no, you can't do certain activities in season, but it's unfortunate because he's a great racer.
Yep.
And
this cost him his season for championship. He won't win a championship because of this. I
don't know if he can get back in, and but it almost puts the pressure on him that he needs to win a race when he gets back.
Yeah,
because there's no way he can get in just on points.
Yeah. So Rich, William Byron winning the race. Your pick of Ross Chastain did quite well. He finished 12th. That's a good spot to be in.
Really wasn't. He was running up pretty well at that last restart.
Yep.
And just for where he was in the field, he took. I think he was on the top of he chose the top line, and he just got passed because he was trying to. He got out of the line. I think went to the middle, and people just passed him by.
Yep.
And that's what caused him to finish 12th. Mike, your pick of Martin Truex Jr. came in 7th. So, Mike, you are on the board.
He did all he could, man. Like, he stayed out on that final caution, and, he didn't have the tires, didn't have the ability to get to speed as as quickly and hold the line as well as everybody else did in those as his tires had faded off a bit, dropping back to 7th. Yeah.
But it was up. But I felt at the time it was a risk worth taking.
Yeah.
Why not stay out and see? All right, maybe there'll be some other good cars behind me that are also going to stay out, which can block and allow me to stay out in front a little bit longer. But everybody else behind him also went out.
Yep.
The only other guys that stayed on the track were guys that were down laps that stayed out there to get some laps back. So he had no support behind him with other cars deciding to stay out.
Yeah. So with that, we head to Phoenix International Raceway, and for the roll-off mortgage 500. Rich, with my pick, I'm actually going to take Ross Chastain this week, as he has a good history at this track.
He does, at least recent history.
Yep.
As last year he finished 2nd and 3rd respectively at the track last year.
Let's smash some watermelons.
Yeah, I'd love to see a smash watermelon, as would my wife, as she's as Ross Chastain is her driver of choice lately.
Yep.
But I'm going to go with the closer, Kevin Harvick, who, going back to as far back as looking at race history that the NASCAR app lets you go, this guy has never finished lower. His worst finish at this track, going all the way back to 2016, is 9th place.
Wow. That's
Strong
really good.
History of finishing in the top 10.
Hopefully Ross Chastain can keep up his top 5 streak and doesn't have to worry about it. Okay, Rich, is there anything else you want to talk about before we leave?
Yeah, I think there were 2 other things. Kimi Räikkönen is going to come back for another run at NASCAR, as he'll be in the Project 91 car for COTA, the Trackhouse Racing extra entry. And there was one other thing. I got to look it up real quick. I don't remember his name. Real quick. Jenson Button.
Oh yeah.
Is going to be coming out to NASCAR. He's going to run 3 races.
That is huge.
That
man has some serious skills, so that's exciting to see.
Yeah, he's going to be driving the number 15 Mobil 1 Ford, which will be fielded by Rick Weir Racing. He's going to race COTA, the Chicago Street Race, and the Indy Road Course, to where marketing and promotional support is going to be facilitated by Stewart Haas Racing. So a joint partnership between 2 teams.
Nice.
To put this wild card driver, probably a road course specialty guy, of course.
He's a Formula One racer.
F1.
Yeah, he's an F1 racer. He's really good in F1 too. So it'll be exciting to see what that looks like for him. And what his take is on NASCAR versus driving a NASCAR vehicle instead of running an F1 car. So with that has been the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline, or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated.
All right, Mike, let's keep making left turns, as we're going to go out to the baseball diamond. As we're kind of in week 2 or 3 of spring training, it's getting closer to the regular season coming in the picture, and we got to kind of got to look at an over-under prediction for the Cubs. So we did kind of off air before we went on air. We looked up the over-win total. But before we did, we gave a number of wins that we thought the Cubs could get to this year.
Yep.
So, Mike, what was your number?
I think it's going to be 82. I think they're going to finish 1 game over 500.
All right. Mike, I'm going to go with about 79, somehow winning 2
games under 500.
Games. Yeah, 2 games under 500. And that's still an improvement on from last year.
It's an improvement. I actually don't think that's a terrible. That I would be happy with the 79 win game this year. But yes, they're going to improve. Rich, drum roll, please.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear it.
Yeah, we can't. That's okay.
No, we can't. Sorry. All right. What was the number from FanDuel
Sportsbook? Over under is 76.5. Honestly, I bet the over on that one.
I go with the over too. Last year they only got to 74 wins, so really, with the improvements that they made over the winter, I think they can get those three more wins.
Yep.
To get them over 76. So yeah, I'd take the over too if I was going to go down to the sports book or log in online, and I'd take that.
Okay, next week we are going to be talking about our division winners. Man, Rich, are you ready? 3 more weeks and we have regular season baseball. Is it feeling like spring where you're at?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Well, it's starting to feel like spring here once in a while. We had it feeling like spring, and then it dumped some snow on us last night. Some nasty, wet, and gross snow. But, okay. Into the NFL, we head as we have a huge deal for us. And we got to also talk about some stuff going on elsewhere.
Yeah, so let's start with the news that's probably going to get us talking a lot. It's about the Bears.
Yep.
In the back of your mind, you always knew that they weren't going to draft a player at number 1. It was going to be that they were going to be trading that draft pick. It was just who they were going to trade the draft pick to and how far down in the draft they were willing to go. And this afternoon, we got that answer, Mike.
Yeah, it's man. They are trading with the Panthers for the number 1 overall pick. Wow.
And Mike, it's not just draft picks that they're getting in this deal.
Oh yeah, no, it's
not. And every other mock draft that I saw that had trades only provided details involving draft picks and draft picks only. But this trade with Carolina sees them get Carolina's number 9 pick this year, pick number 61 from Carolina, which is a second round pick that was originally belonging to the 49ers. The Carolina got that pick in the Christian McCaffrey trade that they did mid-year last year. They get a first-round pick in 2024, a second-round pick in 2025, and the Panthers' number 1 wide receiver, DJ Moore.
That's huge. We've been looking for somebody that's ready for the NFL as a wide receiver. I don't think we've had a number 1 like this since Brandon Marshall.
That was my initial thought too, because I really never thought that Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson is the only other guy that I can think of as comparable to him, but he was kind of a question mark when he came over from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But the thing I also like about the DJ Moore deal is that he's only in the first year. He's still got 2 years left on an extension that he signed with them. So it isn't like a situation with Chase Claypool where we're getting him basically with only 1 year guaranteed contract. We got 2 years with DJ Moore.
And we could 100% get another extension out of him. So I think it's a huge pickup for us. You also have to look at the fact that 9 is actually still it's still a top 10.
It is.
So you're still gonna. You could still again trade down and still get a first and a second-round pick.
Depending on who's still available, there could be one of those quarterbacks that maybe slips by somehow, and you got a team that maybe wants to leapfrog into the top 10 and get it, and you could still trade down one more time. I mean, I think projecting with Carolina going up to 1, you got to imagine that Carolina,
That's a
Houston,
quarterback.
and Indy are going to draft quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it comes down to what Vegas is going to do at 7.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, I mean, one of the draft's best prospects, Jalen Carter, he's got the reckless driving or allegations. There's a chance that he could still be available. He could slip all the way down to 9 if there's some issues, if there's some ongoing issues.
Yep.
That maybe a team sees that as a red flag or a character issue and they decide to pass on him. And the Bears can still get the guy that they would have drafted at number 1 in the odd event that they couldn't find anybody to take that number 1 pick off their hands.
Yeah.
And if not, it's a good spot to draft an offensive lineman.
Yeah, number 9.
Because if the Bears had traded down with Indy or with Indy or Houston, it would have been seen as a reach for an offensive lineman that high in the draft.
Yep. I think it's a great spot to be in. I think we can do a lot of damage there. I think if we trade it down and we can get other things, if we can, do it. But 9 is a great spot to pick up an elite offensive lineman, and I think that's what they should do. 61, that's a decent number. But where I think this gets even more exciting, the first round pick in the 2024 draft for the Carolina Panthers will likely be a top 10 pick.
Again.
Because what is Carolina going to do this year? Are they going to be able to improve enough to get out of the top 10, out of the bottom 10?
I mean, they play in a weak division. They play in a weak division, but they played in a weak division last year, and they still got a top 10 pick.
And you do have to admit that a young man just retired from that division. I don't know. I don't see it being a huge deal, but I don't see them being. I see them still being a top 10 pick.
Yeah, even if it's a 12 or even if it's a pick at number 12, that's still a win. I mean, you could always. I mean, hindsight's 2020. You could. I mean, there's some people that I've seen like some stories or headline grabbers are saying, the Bears folded too much. They should have held on to it longer. But there's no guarantee. I mean,
what would you get?
At least doing it. I don't. That's where I was just going. I don't know what you could have gotten.
Who has a wide receiver that 2 years ago was a top 5, statistically a top 5 wide receiver?
Yep.
When was the last time we just said the last time the Bears had a number 1, a real number 1? By the way, DJ Moore, anywhere in the league, there may be 3 places he would go that he wouldn't be a number 1. I can think of maybe 3. You're not gonna find somebody better. That's gonna be awesome. If you got more draft picks? You're gonna have to draft a wide receiver? Because who do we got for wide receivers right now, Rich?
You got Claypool, Darryl Mooney.
We got DJ Moore. That's who we got.
Core commit. Now you got DJ Moore atop your depth chart to go with Mooney and Claypool.
By the way, if teams decide that all we have to do is double DJ Moore, you're gonna leave. Mooney is. You're right. Mooney's not a number 1, but if you're gonna leave him open, he's gonna look like a number 1 all year.
Mm-hmm.
Mooney,
exactly.
Mooney will keep you honest on what to do about DJ Moore. By the way, if neither of those two options are available, you know what you got? You got legs. This is the number one running quarterback in the league. I'll say it again, the number one running quarterback in the league in Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean a lot of the draft mock drafts I was seeing that included trades had them going down with trading with Indy, and then maybe there's a chance you can trade out of four if there's another team that's going down. But going from 1 to 4, you got to admit you got to think the top two quarterbacks are off the board. So the team you'd want to trade down with a second time is got to be interested in the two quarterbacks that are left that went undrafted out of Levis, Young, Stroud, and Richardson.
And then you're going to be back with Carolina.
Or and you gotta hope that Arizona doesn't work out a trade to trade out a number 3 at the time that when they're on the clock.
The Bears did what they needed to do. I'm happy with this pick. I said that we should use it to trade down. We did. To get multiple picks. We did. I said both this year and next year would be acceptable as long as they're high enough picks. By the way, a first round from Carolina next year is going to be worth it.
Yeah, and with the uncertainty of how good the Bears team could be, they could essentially have two top 10. They could have two top 10 picks.
Yeah.
If this team maybe doesn't reach as much a higher potential, if they're like 7-9 or 8-8, that could still at least keep them in the pick range of anywhere from the bottom of the top 10, anywhere from like 9 to 12, if they just finish 500 again.
Yeah. So it's man.
So overall, I mean, I like the trade.
Yeah.
Could they have maybe gotten more picks if they had somehow managed to go wheeling and dealing on draft night to move down 1 or 2 times but still stay in the top 10? Yeah. But at least you know what type of wide receiver you're getting in DJ Moore. You're getting the multiple first round picks, and you're still in the top 10 with this trade down. You don't have to worry about, well, if we go from 1 to 2 or 2 to 4 in back-to-back trades. You don't have to worry about if we want to move down from 4 to even down lower, that there's going to be a team that's going to come calling and want to meet your demands to get draft picks.
Yeah. Yeah,
takes two the trade.
Yeah, and they got a trade partner, and they did well with it. I think this is a great spot for them to be in, and you're going to have a hard time convincing me that this wasn't the best move. So.
Yep, because anything from here on out is just pure speculation on what they could have done if they had held on to the number 1 pick until April, when more of the draft, when more teams had a chance to work out these quarterbacks to see if they truly need to move all the way up to number 1 to make sure that they get the guy that they want.
Yep.
So I'll take it.
Yeah.
So the other thing with quarterbacking news was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was given the non-exclusive franchise tag. No, it's the non-exclusive tag. So if he signs the 10-year, he's on a 1-year deal for, I think they said it was like $38 million, which is lower than the exclusive franchise tag.
Yep.
And it gives Lamar Jackson the option to negotiate with any team, all the rest of the 31 NFL teams. And if somebody signs him to an offer, Baltimore can accept it and say, all right, we'll sign that. We'll sign you. We'll match that offer. You're signing with us now.
Yep.
You're signing with us, or they can say goodbye. Good luck. They can shake his hand, tell him good luck, and they collect 2 first-round picks from the team that signs him.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Man,
did you find it odd that so many teams that in theory could use a quarterback like Lamar Jackson were coming out, either leaking reports or coming out and saying we're not gonna pursue Lamar Jackson?
I
Miami, Atlanta, Carolina,
New York.
New York,
I'm
all these
amazed.
teams that could easily that Lamar Jackson would be a great fit with. Nope, we're not interested. Is it to where I mean the talk around the talk around it was is there collusion? Because
But
supposedly
why?
Lamar Jackson wants a Deshaun Watson type deal, which is a fully guaranteed.
Okay, I don't think it. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a terrible thing, and I think most of the league thinks it is too. The Browns are dumb. That's why the Browns did it, because the Browns are idiots. The
And
Browns,
they needed a way to get Deshaun Watson to say, "Yep, I'll go to Cleveland."
the
If
Browns,
that was the
yeah,
only way they could get him there,
yeah. The
great.
Browns
I
took a guy that got him to the playoffs, let him go, and picked up Deshaun Watson. Why?
mean, if you're just looking at football on the football field, I think Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
Right.
But did he deserve that type of contract coming off of the situation that he put himself
Nope.
into, which caused him to be out of football for an entire year?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm not happy with it. I think. I mean, do I? The problem is we play next man up. Right. That's where we're at. At
Hmm.
some point, people are going to say no. I'm not paying a quarterback $100 million a year. $150 million a year. We're just not going to do that. At some point, we're going to get and maybe that number's the 50 million that Deshaun Watson got. Maybe that's the top of the spectrum.
But if you're a guy like, well, being any quarterback, you could take it when it comes time for Pat Mahomes to get his new deal.
Yeah, but he
You could
signed
easily
that
point
10
to
year.
that.
He
You
signed to
point
that
to
ten
that
year
Watson
deal.
deal, saying, I've had more success on the football field than him. He's making more money than me."
Yeah, and and maybe, but at that point, he's going to be 10 years older. He's going to be worth what was it, $500 million?
Yeah. So he's made his money. Why does he need to make more, be the highest paid
I
quarterback?
think
I
he
think that's
deserves
the
it. If he continues on the trajectory that he is, he would deserve it. Does Lamar Jackson deserve the type of money? Yes, 100%. Should it be fully guaranteed? No. What is this, baseball? Like, you don't guarantee a contract in the NFL. I think there needs to be a lot more done for, like, I think injuries need to be. You, I think you need to negotiate injury compensation better. Again, I know that their master contract has some of that written in there, but there's a reason why you want guaranteed money. By the way, guarantee 75%. I hate guaranteed contracts in I hate guaranteed contracts in any sport, but football they don't do that. That's not a thing. So I'm
yeah.
not
I mean,
I'm not sure that.
but the thing,
Go ahead.
yeah, but the thing I don't get with the teams coming out and why say so quickly the day that he gets tagged like that to come out and say no, we're not interested. I mean, come out and say we'll explore, we'll look into signing him. But good on, I think it's a wise move for Baltimore. They save money in the short term between the exclusive tag, and if Jackson is dead set on the guaranteed money thing, it shows them that Baltimore is not the only team that's willing to say, no, we can only go this much being guaranteed. You're not going to get a Deshaun Watson type deal from us.
Here's the problem with
Collu-
that.
Collusion or no collusion, he can see that,
Yeah.
all right, Baltimore's, all right, let's see. All right, go out and see what other teams are going
Here's
to go out and see what other teams are going to offer you.
here's the problem with that though. I at some point, and again, he won't. None of these guys are going to come to him till after the draft. The Jets are sitting what, like fifth or sixth? Are they in like? Where are the Jets in the draft?
Well, that Jets first round pick might go back to Green Bay because they went out and talked to Aaron Rodgers this week out
Yeah,
in
but
California.
but again, we can't assume that that's what's going to happen.
I
Okay,
know.
in the first round, the first pick that the Jets have is number 13. Now, either the Jets need to trade up or they need to hook Aaron Rodgers. One of those need to happen.
Exactly, because
If
they lost out on Derek Carr to the Saints.
Yep, if neither one of those happens, how quick do you think they're going to be to say, "Okay, we'll give you $50 million guaranteed for the next 5 years." Even if it's just 5 years.
From my perspective, I don't get why they're so hung up on Aaron Rodgers.
Aging
let's go out
Aaron
and get Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers. You could probably get Lamar Jackson and get more years out of him. Because if you get Aaron Rodgers, if you're going to have to give up a couple, right now it's saying that Green Bay wants high draft picks, whether
Yep.
that's a first and some seconds or two firsts. And if you got to deal with the drama
By
of
the way, the
you
Jets
know you'll
don't
get him
have
for
two
at least
firsts
one.
this year.
I'm sorry.
The Jets don't have 2 firsts this year to give up.
Well, that'd be like a first this year and then one in 24
Yep.
for Aaron Rodgers. What are you going to do if the end of 24, whether it works out and he goes out as a winner, whether that's as a Super Bowl or taking the team further than it's been in years, and then he goes back into this whole, maybe I'm going to play, maybe I'm not going to play. I got to see how I feel.
I'm going to go to this sweat lodge for 3 days.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And he drags it out like he's doing right now. I don't know if I'm going to play. I'm going to talk with my inner circle and
I still think he ends up
examine
back
whether I
in,
want to keep playing.
I still think he ends up back in Green Bay, by the way. I'm still going to put that out there. And I still don't but let's say the draft comes and goes. Jets don't have a deal. The Packers are now sitting pretty. Now you're going to have to give up 2 first rounds next year, something. I think the Jets are going to end up going to be like, okay, hey, Lamar, here's this. Here we'll give you fully guaranteed at $45 a year. Why not? I think that option will happen. Of course, right now they don't want to say that because they don't want to spook Aaron Rodgers. By the way, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere, so who cares?
Yeah,
But
I don't.
As soon as
I just don't get why you would, if knowing that Lamar Jackson's available, I'd be going to him.
yeah,
But the thing that kind of complicates the whole Lamar Jackson status is he doesn't have an agent. He
right,
negotiates himself.
right,
So it isn't like you as a team. So anytime you want to negotiate with him and present a contract to him, you're either going directly to him saying that, well, here's what we think. Let me know, counter it. Let's talk this out. Or you're going to
yeah.
an advisor who's not a professional agent and trying to negotiate that way. So maybe the Ravens were just tired of how the negotiating was going, since it's not a traditional agent that you can dial up
Yeah,
and talk terms with him. All right, let me go back to Lamar. Let me talk it over with him. Or, Lamar's thinking of this much. Lamar's thinking more in this dollar range. Can you match that, or can we come a little bit closer to that?
Yeah.
If you're talking with a non-professional about contract terms or the player directly, it's going to be harder to negotiate with them.
Yep. One of the things that, and I had this with at one of my jobs, they always said, you want the hardest. You don't go to your supervisor if you want to raise. Why? Because if you go to your supervisor says, okay, let me go talk to who, the owner of the business, and then they go talk to the owner of the business. Rich, if you're looking Danielle in the eye and she says, hey, we'd like you to give Mike a raise. Can you do that for him? Or if you're looking me in the eye and I say, hey, do you think I'm worth it? Which is harder for you to say, to tell? Who is it harder to tell no? Who's it harder to make those decisions? And is it when you're negotiating directly with that person, does it then become personal? So that'll be the hard part. But I think Lamar will get his money. I mean, if he doesn't get paid, man, pay the man. Just pay the man. By the way, this is what makes sense for the team, and it makes sense. So I'm not surprised. So, okay, anything else in the NFL?
Not that I can think of. Probably have more NFL to talk as free agency starts. I think contracts can start being signed with new teams. I think next week.
Yep.
Next week, so we'll have things to talk about. The Bears have a lot of cap space, so I'm sure we'll be talking some Bears free agent signings here in the next couple of over the next couple of weeks as well.
Just
Mike,
few big things in the NFL just to talk about. Nothing quick. Or not the NFL, in the NBA. It looks like LeBron's probably going to be out the rest of the season with a hurt foot. So the greatest of all time is going to miss yet another end of the season and miss the playoffs yet again. Is that what you're telling me? Wait, no.
Yep.
Michael
Seems
retired
like
25 years ago. That's right.
Yep. Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Just got acquired from the Suns. Sprains his ankle in warm-ups.
Yep.
Out 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, that's rough. Man. The playoffs are going to look a little rough. Those what looked great in the playoffs is now not doing so good. Other than that,
well, I guess one other thing. Did you hear what happened to like a 90s all-star?
Yeah, you're talking Georgetown?
No.
Oh.
Sean Kemp. He was detained in connection with a drive-by shooting.
I did not hear that.
He was arrested in connection with a drive-by shooting incident on Wednesday, but was released from jail with no charges being filed at the time in Washington State.
Yeah. And then also, as we head into NCAA news, Georgetown has released
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing as their head coach.
Yeah, sad to see him go. He was a big coach. He cut his teeth being an NFL, an NBA assistant coach for many years before getting a chance to coach his alma mater.
Yep. Okay, Rich. This week we see Selection Sunday starting. Is this Sunday, 2 days from today. Look for that as we watch and get to see the tickets getting punched and see who ends up there. The first 4 matches, which are I hate. I hate that we call these matches. These used to be. By the way, I also don't like the way they do it because these play-in matches are like last year. They weren't like 16, 17 seeds. It was
They
like
had like 8, 9 seeds playing each other, didn't they? They had people playing for a right to be a number 8 or a number 9 seed in the
right,
tournament.
right.
It's like, no,
If you're going to be an
these
8 or 9 seed, that means you are better than at least anybody that's a 10, 11, a 12, all the way to a 16. If you're an 8 seed, you are better than half of the teams in the tournament.
but you got to play your way into the tournament,
Right.
supposedly. I mean, why not?
You're
If, if you're in the first 4, you should be getting the lowest seed within the tournament.
right. You should be playing for your 16 seed. How do we have number 1 seeds, or how do we have number 8 seeds playing to play in? That doesn't make sense. But those play-in games are next Thursday.
I think it's a Wednesday. I think
Or
it'd be
Wednesday.
a Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because the 12th would be 14, 15 of March.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
playing games start, and then the regular tournament games start on Thursday.
I
on
hope
Thursday.
the committee does the right thing and lets people who are number 1 seed or number like playing in. That's obviously a 15 or 16. There's no reason.
I'm not sure. We'll have to look at the bracket and see where these first 4 games got put in. So if you're an NCAA fan, whether a casual fan that just fills out the bracket just to see how you do, or if you watch as many games as you can during March Madness, join our tourney pick'em pool, which we run through Yahoo. If you, we'll make sure to share the link again on our Facebook pages, and Mike also has it in the
show notes,
in the description, in the show notes on where all we post our show, Facebook, YouTube, and on the podcasts. So join us. We'll make sure as every round ends, you'll get a show shout out, whether you're in first place, last place, or riding somewhere in the middle.
Yep. So,
Mike, what's our current total up to? Are we still sitting at 3, or have we picked up a couple more people?
we're up to 5.
We're up to 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Hopefully more to come. I'm gonna send some targeted ones out today, I think, or tomorrow. So, and again, you don't have. I mean, one of the best parts of this is when we were kids, we were filling out these brackets on paper. You didn't know anything. You filled it out, and the amount of times that I won as a kid was ridiculous. Didn't know anything. You don't need to know anything for March Madness. That's why it's March Madness, because it's crazy. So, okay. Rich, anything else before we hit this spoiler alert?
I do not. Mike, why don't you give the old spoiler alert?
Yeah, this is your spoiler alert. If you didn't hear it when I said it the first time, when Rich said it the second time, or when I said it the third time, here's your 4th warning. This is a spoiler alert for The Masked Singer. We are going to talk about who was unmasked on this week's show. If you don't want to be a part of that, thank you for joining us this week. We will see you next week, as we do every week. We will be here. Thanks for joining us. Like us, subscribe if you're not already, wherever you find your podcasts. And if you want to watch us, check us out on YouTube or on Facebook. And if you want to participate in our poll questions, as always, jump over to Facebook fan page, where our poll questions and all the links that we share out tend to be. We're also on Twitter if you want to look there. Once again, This is your final spoiler alert. Okay. Let's
All right,
do it.
Mike. So this week we had the wolf,
Nope,
the gargoyle,
Yep, the
the
wolf, the
gargoyle,
gargoyle, and
and the squirrel.
yeah. Um.
All right, Mike.
So
So out of those three,
all
Mike,
three of them
who
did
was
really
your
well, by the way.
yeah, who was your favorite performer? They always do like the cheesy vote for your favorite performance, not the best performance.
Yeah,
Who is your favorite performer of that night?
probably the squirrel. Ooh, excuse me. It's got to be the squirrel. I like the squirrel.
I kind of like the gargoyle better. Coming out of the battle, who do you think did better?
I think out of the battle, the gargoyle did better.
All right. This is for me where the squirrel. I thought the squirrel did a little better with the battle song.
Yeah.
Well, no, nope, nope. I'm sorry. I really like the gargoyle. For me, when you're singing, what was the Kryptonite? You
Yeah.
need that when you're ending that. You need that long crescendo of yeah,
Yeah.
and the squirrel chose not to do that as she went like down and then didn't crescendo
Yeah.
up to keep extending that.
Yeah. I thought it was a great.
So
I thought they were both great performances, and so obviously the wolf lost, but the other side is that they did ring the bell and save both. So the squirrel won, and they saved the gargoyle, which I think was probably a good choice. I do disagree. Let's go to the wolf, and then I'm going to explain why I disagree with a statement and some stuff about what the deal is with the save, because this week's is completely different than last week's, and it actually is even worse. And I'll explain that in
okay.
just a second.
Okay, so
So
the wolf turned out to be Michael Bolton.
I legitimately thought it could have been through, and I thought it when they talked about uh, when he gave the clue, ask my friends. I'm a great host. Ask my friends. Jay Z. I don't remember who the first one was, but it was a girl, Jay Z, and I want to say Andy Samberg.
Okay,
And at that point, I was down to two people, and then as soon as I heard the voice, I was down to one.
all right. So you totally had it on. You didn't need the get. You didn't need the panel
I didn't even
throwing
need the
out
panel
guesses
on
to
that
say,
one.
"Oh, yep, yep,
Nope.
that's a good guess. It's got to be him."
Nope. I knew it was. Ready for it, Rich? Michael Bolton.
Yep, it
He had
was
that.
Michael Bolton.
He had that. I mean, that hook, the sound. It was 100% Michael Bolton. There was no denying it. Um, his work with Lonely Island, his work with Jay Z. Overall, I knew who it was. It worked great. It was awesome. Uh, I'm happy it was him. I'm slightly surprised he did that bad, but it was also sad watching him perform, especially at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did bad. He was in. I mean, I don't think he deserved to move on, but we've seen really bad performances
Yeah,
of the people that are getting of gotten unmasked first.
yeah. Now, what we really need to talk about is why this save is so much. It proves that the saves are terrible.
Okay, how so, Mike?
So, this week's save, here's what happens. The person that goes on this week, next week, has to go and win. And then the following week has to go and win. Right?
Yes.
You know, so for the squirrel to make it to the semifinals, they have to go through two more matches. Right?
Yes, they do. Two more.
for the Gargoyle to make it to the semifinals, they only have one more match, one more time to go.
They have to go up against the two other people that have been saved. So Medusa
Right,
and one more save that's going to come in the third group.
but they only have one more show. Now, that's how it works this week. But let's go Medusa's route. Medusa, I think, won all three of the shows she was on. Or was it four?
She did 3.
Okay. I
She
think
lost to the California role in the battle, but chose to save her.
I think she did better than the California Rolls, but
Yep.
I'm not the judge. I'm not the producers. But now she has to go through 4 wins to get to the semifinals. The California Rolls have 1. And the wolf or the gargoyle has to only win 2.
So are you going to? So are the character that they choose in the third round? He's only got to do 2 shows.
He might only have to do 2 shows. You're right. But the gargoyle is now at the point where he only has to do 2 shows to get to the semifinals. I think the gargoyle is getting screwed on this, and I don't like it. Or not the gargoyle, Medusa. I think she's also been the best we've seen so far this season.
And maybe that's their way of getting her into the finals. Whether this is actual. Well, no, because it was the panel that.
Yep.
It was the panel or the producers' prearranged vote that put the California role moving on.
Yep.
Instead of Medusa.
Yep. So I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it, but it is the show we get, and it's still an enjoyable show. That doesn't change it from being enjoyable.
Love the show. I'm not gonna. Whether it's the producers heavily influencing it, like we think they are, because obviously,
is it Anna Kendrick,
I would
by the
love.
way?
I'm sorry.
Anna Kendrick.
Okay.
The squirrel.
Because by all means, I would love to see them go all the way down the line. Robin to Nicole.
Yep.
Who do you think won? Who's your vote?
And they kind of did that. They kind of did that on the first one or on this one.
Yeah, because they had some time to stretch. They were talking about. Well, it seemed like Jenny and Robin were talking back and forth on who they thought did better.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know, but this person did really good. It's going to be close. It's going to be interesting. Then they cut the break.
Yep.
But you never truly know how they voted. Yep. And if there's a tie, how do they break that tie?
It's a good question. I guarantee you.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I guarantee it's got to be the producers.
Yep.
Nope.
The producers run it all. Okay, Rich. Anything else in the Masked Singer before we move on?
Nope, I got nothing.
Do you have any shout-outs for the week?
Before we get the shout-outs, Mike, do we have any reaction or comment shout-outs over on the Facebook line?
Nope. How do you get those, Rich?
You know, Mike, if you put any type of reaction,
yep,
caring, love, like, angry face, any reaction, we'll give you a shout-out.
Yep.
If you make a comment and we notice it while we're talking on the subject, we'll let you join in the conversation and add your opinion to what we're talking about. And if we don't catch it, we'll make sure to give you that shout out at the end of the show. But Mike, I do not have any shout outs. I know you got a couple, Mike, so I'll let you take it.
I have
we have a mutual one, but I think you're closer to that individual than I am. So
yeah.
I'll let you take that one.
Happy birthday, Joe Perry. This week, the 7th was his birthday. So happy birthday, Joe. So that was the one that I have. Do you have others?
Nope.
Okay. Well, with that being said, Rich, people are watching us on Facebook, but you know what? They want to listen to us on their 2-hour drive to Chicago. What should they do?
You know what? Look us up wherever you find your podcasts, or your other podcasts. Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, just to name a few.
Yep.
And Mike, if they're listening to us on the podcast form, they want to see what we look like, but they really don't like Facebook that much.
Yeah.
Where can they find our video?
You can find us on YouTube under youtube.com/balls and sticks. With that done, Rich, what should we do?
You know what, Mike? Let's go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.